have to fail, and failure is very important in your journey to success, because through failure you're able to eliminate what's not working. We need to be more process driven than outcome driven. If you cheat on your girlfriend, you're probably going to cheat on your trading.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Nqobile Tembane from Top Traders South Africa, and I'm bringing you guys another installment of Market Masters, where I sit down with the most prominent and talented traders in the industry. And today I'm joined by a friend of mine, a new friend of mine.
Yep.
I am joined
industry
by
friend.
I'm also a long-time subscriber of the channel.
Absolutely, one of the first 20 subscribers.
I'm joined by Maxwell Dlamini. I said that right now. Dlamini.
Yes.
Great.
This side is say Usibal Kulu, in Swaziland we say Kwala.
Yeah. Okay. No, perfect. Thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate you just making time for us to have a conversation today. I'm really intrigued because I'm really excited about today, because when you reached out and you're like, hey Chief, 1, 2, 3, I was just like, must.
Is it? No, what made you think like that?
It's the how to lose conversation, just that. Because I usually when I'm preparing, I don't just prepare for a specific episode, but also it's also the reason why I was talking about resting as well.
Right.
Also during resting, we also it's also time for preparation, time for improvement, things like that. So I have a list of like topical points in J. You understand, just like things like that. So when I was reading through what you were talking about there, I'm like, okay, actually, this losing thing, it resonates with me, because I'm just like, okay, I also had it like something similar to that, because I just like when I'm like listening to podcasts or I'm chilling, relaxing, idea pops up, I open up my notes, I just type a topic and then I leave it for later. You understand? So when it's time, when I have a conversation with someone, I'm actually able to be like, go to that, instead of now panicking, looking for topics like
Also from experience, probably your losing comes from experience. And we lose 90% of the time, but you really find content, videos or YouTube content that talks about losing, only to find that if you look at any trader's trading history, we lose more than we win. It's just that if you're a professional like me, you can lose more than you win, but still be profitable at the end of the day. And I think that's what we're here to talk about today.
100%. Totally, 100%. Yeah, but before we get into all the technical stuff, let's just give people a bit of background. Who is Maxwell Dlamini? I know we also, I think by the time this comes out, the other episode would have come out.
Yep.
We also did an episode of Industry Chats podcast,
right.
where we spoke about obviously your time in the industry, but we'll just touch. I guess today we'll just touch on your story particularly, and then we'll just get into the trading stuff.
All right, fantastic.
Sorry to interrupt today's episode, but I need to tell you a few things about Octa today. So guys, it's really important to be with a broker that has great trading conditions, and Octa has transparent trading conditions from zero swaps to no commissions at all, which means more profits in your pockets for you. As well, fast deposits and withdrawals with various options. Your deposit funds will be there within just 1 to 2 minutes, and get your profits in 25 minutes, right just when you need them. As well, guys, the minimum deposit at Octa is $50. But it's also $25 when you're using a Visa card. And guys, think about it. Now they provide a wide range of instruments, 150 plus stock assets, 30 plus crypto assets, 35 currency pairs, metals and indices for you guys to be able to trade. Also, we're giving you guys 100% deposit bonus when you use the code TOPTRADER. So guys, trading made clear with Octa.
Who's Maxwell? Don't get me wrong. I know who I am.
No, it's like, where does Maxwell come from?
Where does Maxwell come from? Okay, I come from a small country in the corner southeast of Africa called the Swatini. That's where I was born. I've lived there, I wouldn't say all my life, because after uni I've been in and out. as a hustler, trying business in different countries. And as I've said earlier on when we were having a conversation, I like to learn. I like to create relationships, network, because you don't know really what the future holds. So I come from Swaziland, 30 years of age, and I trade in the financial markets. I'm not a trader. I'm a risk manager. Because when you hear the word trader, I mean, it's associated with a lot of negative things. When you hear the word trader, you think scammer. When you hear the trader, you think someone who risks a lot in the market. And to some people, someone who's really crazy not to follow the traditional path of school, of which I did that. Didn't work out because the goals that I had were quite big.
Okay. And did you finish?
I didn't.
You didn't. You dropped out.
And it wasn't my choice.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't my choice, and I don't like to talk about that because it was painful.
Yeah.
And I'm a top student from primary school. I actually got to skip a couple of classes because.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
And I started my primary when I was 10 years old. When I started grade 1.
Grade 1, when you were 10 years old?
Yeah, when I was 10 years old, due to some family issues, lack of funds here and there. But the responsibility, not burden, to take care of the family, because I was the oldest on my father's side of the surname, really inspired me to work hard on myself. You know, a lot of people, when they see me, they think, where I come from. When you talk about Maxwell, people think hustler. And I really don't like that because it has come with a lot of painful experiences. I'm not the same innocent child I was when I was growing up. And people think you hustle because you love money. Sometimes you just don't have a choice. You have to get your hands dirty. You have to really grind to make sure that your mother and your siblings don't sleep on an empty stomach. So yeah, from Swaziland, did finish my high school. I was the 12th best student in the country.
Okay.
I applied in so many universities out overseas. I would get an offer of a place, but no scholarship. And that forced me to settle for the University of Eswatini. I did my bachelor's degree in electrical and electronics engineering, which I never finished. The reasons are really painful. Imagine a top student not finishing his degree program just because someone decided that, it was okay for me not to finish.
Yeah.
And that experience was really one of the life-changing experiences in my life, because that's when I made the decision that I'll never, ever in my life put the fate or my future in someone else's hands. Like even today, I don't mind losing, but it should be at my expense, not at someone else's decision. And I not know how much the other person has put into a certain thing for me to lose. And I know I really grind. I do ridiculous hours. Like when I'm working on something, 18, 20 hours a day. My woman would tell you I sleep 4 hours. Sometimes she would wake up, I'm not in the bed, she'll find me on my desk. I'm grinding, making calls all day, just trying to, like I said earlier, sometimes you do not have a choice. There's this responsibility that you need to take care of. So I not know whether you want me to talk about how did I get into trading. I think that's important.
We'll get to that, you know, because I literally want to just talk about the leaving your fate in someone else's hand. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing right now, especially in the industry, especially with taking signals.
Right.
That is literally the definition of leaving your fate in someone else's hand. And then when things don't go right, who's responsible? Now you don't want to take accountability for the fact that you paid someone And I'm not defending signal providers.
Yeah,
no, everyone knows I hate signals. I don't like signal providers. I don't like signal subscribers. Both of them, it's just a recipe for disaster. But
absolutely,
when you say, leaving your fate in someone else's hand, that's what a lot of you guys are doing, taking signals. You're literally saying that, hey, the fate of my trading account, I'm going to leave it in this guy.
People don't want to do the work. People don't want to do the work. And speaking of work and taking signals, I can take your signal, but I really don't know how much time you put in analyzing that signal. And one of the mistakes that we make, we think because someone is a celebrity trader, they are always right. We think someone, because he's a trader in general, they are going to be right, when that's not the case. For any set of variables that define an edge, there's a random distribution between the wins and the losses. So sometimes mentees or someone who's taking a signal from you, for instance, would go all in on the first signal that you send, only to find that one is going to be a loser. And traders, they do not really focus on risk management. I don't know why. I think it's because of maybe something that we're going to talk about later, the Holy Grail. People think there's this mythical, foolproof strategy that is going to guarantee you success in the market. And I'd like to say there are no guarantees in this market, especially on the upside.
That's true. That is so true. And especially subscribing to someone's signals. That is so true. I mean, there's no guarantee there at all.
And everyone is flawed. You cannot blame the signal provider at the end of the day. I think it's very important that we do the work. You do the work because it's your hard-earned money. Why would you, Nqobile, telling you about my story, I think you can understand how hard life has been for me, and I know how hard I work for my money. And then imagine I give you my probably $100 for a monthly subscription of signals, and you just basically help me blow that account. That doesn't make sense. You need to value your money, work for it. And people are not patient. They want instant gratification. Great things take time. There's a quote that one of my friends back in Eswatini that normally says is, everything that works takes work. That is very, very, very important. And I think social media has also had a role to play in this. Social media makes it seem like, I'll speak about trading because that's the industry that I'm in. It makes people think trading is easy. People are winning every day. As we were talking earlier, people are always posting blues when that's not the case. We actually take more losses than we win. Which is why, personally, if you look at my Instagram, I no longer post the profits. I post the charts because I'm trying to show people the process. We need to be more process driven than outcome driven. I'm an engineer and I understand processes, I understand inputs, I understand that to tweak the outcome or to affect the outcome, you need to tweak the inputs. In this case, it could be your methodology, your risk management, probably some key insight that you got from your journaling. So those are the key things that I'm focused on. When we talk about how to lose, I think in the industry, I'm known for being the guy who teaches traders how to lose, but they end up becoming successful.
Which is
it's key. A counterintuitive approach.
100%. 100%. Because I think everyone's teaching people how to win.
Absolutely.
But when you look at the stats of brokers like you are required there to say that how many of our clients are actually losing money. It's ridiculous. 70-80% of our clients are losing money.
Bro, actually, this... I've worked with a lot of brokers, and sometimes you'd see the reports because there are rights that you do not have. If maybe say you're a country manager, maybe you are a partnership account manager. That means you're managing IBs, IB accounts. But if you had a chance to go through those reports, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Even the 90% is quite low. I think it goes all the way up to 97%. People lose money in trading. And what I realized, because I'm also a data analyst, and when I looked at the data, what I would see that was common. Some accounts wouldn't last a week.
Yeah.
You deposit on Monday, probably Tuesday you've blown. Because it's also because of how people get introduced into this market. My mentor used to share a story with me of two men who looked outside from prison bars. Two men in the same place, they look outside of prison bars. One saw mud, the other saw the stars. And he would end the story with this quote: perspective is how you fare through life. So if you're introduced into the market with the mindset of a get-rich-quick scheme, flipping accounts, scaling in, barcoding, right? You're going to experience a very tough journey in this market. You're always going to make money and giving back to the market. So it is very important that we get introduced the right way. And I think I'll say me and you and other industry players who have been introduced the wrong way, we have a responsibility to make sure that the ones that comes after us get to know the realities of trading, and they get to know the right processes that they need to follow. And but it's going to be hard with the generation that follows us because of instant gratification. Once again, they want everything now. Yeah. And it takes time. It takes working on yourself. Like I said, I started seeing consistency once I started working on myself, which is something that's outside trading, right? Reading more books, trying meditation. You know, when you hear these things in podcasts, you think it's like some fufu advice, like meditate for 15 minutes a day, journal. But once you start doing it and you start seeing the results, that's when you understand that this thing really, really, really works.
Yeah. You know, when you're talking about, I think there's a direct correlation between success and luck. That a lot of people we see on social media have really, I don't know. Yes, sometimes I once heard somebody, because I asked somebody this question: do you think there's a correlation between success and luck? The person was like, "Nah, I think it's just somebody who works, and then at some point." But I think get lucky. Yeah, you get lucky. You work, and see, some people work much less than other people, but they are way far ahead than other people. Yeah. And I think it's just like, you know, yes, are we in this game right now to see who gets lucky and who doesn't get lucky? Or can just somebody put in the work and reap the rewards without getting lucky as per se? Because it seems like now people are just interested in, you know, that success that they see on social media and they're chasing that. Now they just want to, you know, if I could just get lucky with this one trade. Yeah. And I get it. There will be one trade that probably changes your life, but absolutely, I think that's based on luck, because you said, like you mentioned earlier on, there's a random distribution of wins and losses. Yeah. So now, if it's random,
did you know that there's a difference between winning and being consistently profitable? Okay. There's almost no connection between the two, because winning doesn't take any skill. Unless you're saying clicking a mouse, clicking buy and sell is a skill. Winning doesn't take any skill, but being consistently profitable takes skills. Yeah. You really have to constantly work on yourself. You really need to journal. You really need to review your data on a consistent basis so that you can extract those key insights and see your weakness points and your strengths. And your strengths are very important because that's your edge. That's your edge. That's, for example, I every time I analyze on a weekend, like analyze about 35 different markets, and my trading normally starts on a Tuesday based on the data again. When I looked at my data, I lose on on Monday and I lose on Friday. Yesterday I took trades. I'm down 1.5%. So and 7 years in the game, I still make those mistakes. No one is perfect, but the key thing is to constantly work on yourself. Now, you spoke of luck earlier on. I do believe there's an element of luck, in winning, because I won't lie. We're talking about a trader that you were interviewing recently who has been really consistent since 2011, but he's not successful as the other guys that we see in the industry.
Or it doesn't appear as successful.
Exactly, because he has no luck. I believe I've been living under the same conditions, especially in this industry. I haven't been lucky to get those $10,000 deals when I deliver way more value than most people in this industry. I'm not afraid to say that. I know it's proven. So you also, speaking of luck, there's this old Texas cowboy prayer that I like. It says, God give us rain and a little bit of luck, and we'll do the rest. My favorite part is that we will do the rest. God is in control of other things, even the luck. But you have to do what? Work.
Yeah.
You have to put in the work. There's no replacement for that. We might have AI, machine learning, making life easy, making decisions faster than the human being, but you will never replace hard work. Success takes work. And you know what's also a function of success? Failure. You have to fail. And failure is very important in your journey to success, because through failure, you're able to eliminate what's not working.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of playing with the risk reward. For instance, do not take all that you have and put it into trading to test a methodology, right? Because the impact of that failure might cause you to give up, and then you lose the opportunity to get to your success. So always play with the risk-reward ratio. Say you've got 100K in your savings account, ne? Take 5K and trade a methodology. And something that is dissed a lot in this industry, which has been very important for me, is trading demo.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm an engineer. You can't give me a strategy and I take your word for it. I have to test these things. I have to look at the data, and that's when I'm going to go into the market with confidence. Yeah.
I think people become so clouded in that regard, especially with the new methodology, with the new strategy. Become so clouded. So when we talk, this for the sake of the interview, we'll use a 100K example throughout. When you're talking about that 100K right now, instead of right now saying, because I've heard so many people say, I'd rather test with real money. I'm not against that. I understand that. I'm not particularly against that. But see, the issue is that right there is that people become so clouded by this new shiny thing.
Right.
Whereas they're just like, nah, this thing, I saw it work somewhere.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna take that full 100K, put it there, because hey, this is the new shiny thing.
Absolutely.
So they kind of just become, the minds just become so clouded. It's like now, and you see that people just don't even think straight.
They don't. Also, it has to do with they don't know what they're doing. I was mentored by traders that had an experience in the trading pit, the real trading, where you see orders. One of them was, I don't know if I should mention names, your Timothy Sykes, your Sam Sadin, John Moulton, who goes by the name of Rambo. So Sam Sadin and John Moulton both worked at the Chicago Merchant Exchange. So they experienced the real trading. Traders think trading is a game of technical analysis and time frames. It's not. It's a game of price. The problem is that most traders are experiencing this market through electronics. They do not know that there is buying and selling somewhere. So there's orders. Sometimes you find that there's imbalance of these orders. I mean, if I can talk about how the market goes up, how the market consolidates is, say you've got 500 buy orders and 300 sell orders, right? So those 300 sell orders are going to be absorbed, but you have an excess of 200. And what's the market going to do? It's going to push up to look for more sellers because higher prices favors what? It favors sellers. And vice versa, if you've got maybe 700 sell orders and they are met with 500 buy orders, the 500 buy orders are going to be absorbed right? And then what's going to happen to the remaining 200 orders? Price is going to go down, looking for what? Buyers. And we need to understand that in the market, every buyer needs a seller.
Yeah.
And the broker is responsible for the order matching process. You get a lot of people blaming brokers for their losses here. They don't even understand what a broker really does. So a broker does that, and they make their money from the fees and the commissions for doing those transactions for different market participants. It could be retail traders and institutional traders. So understanding the market from the basic level. And here's another misconception, is that a methodology that has a high win rate is going to correlate to consistent outcomes. No. That's not what trading methods are for. Trading methods are for putting odds in your favor. So the problem is that we believe so much in a trading methodology, and then we forget the basics of the market. I played football when I was young, and almost went semi-pro. Couldn't be signed by the senior team because then uni happened, so I had to choose between football full-time and uni. And in Swaziland, football doesn't pay that much. So I wasn't that talented, I'll be honest with you. I played with some really talented players, of which when I looked at them today, I'm like, what a waste. This guy could have competed at the world stage. So I was not that talented, but I was effective because I focused on the basics.
Okay.
And sometimes people thought coaches favored me, but it's just I executed the plan, which is what I do in trading today. I don't like to think too much, because a lot of mistakes and decisions that can lead you to losing at the end of the day come from thinking.
Yeah, that's actually quite true.
Even when I teach, I give someone a system so that their job is one: execute.
Yeah.
Execute, and don't play with the numbers. Don't risk 0.5% today and risk 20% tomorrow. My mentor, now this one from the UK, Samuel Leach, he once said in a Zoom call, he once said, you are anticipating consistent profits, but you're not consistent with your risk. Stop playing. Be serious. Yeah. So for me, that's trading. I deal with it from the basic level, so that any methodology you bring to me, I can make it work.
Yeah. And I think this is why I've become so adamant on asking this particular question. Do you have a trading plan? To a lot of people, especially people who sit right where you're sitting there. Because I think what you mentioned right there, the thinking too much, I'm thinking about what you're saying about the thinking too much. I'm just like, actually, that makes sense, because when I look at my own personal trading, it's like, okay, I actually, the plan was there, but now when I think about certain trades, I'm like, but the brain, I mean, I already know how I'm going to execute.
Right.
What's my stop loss? Where's my stop loss supposed to be placed? Everything, you understand? And now you're saying you're thinking too much. I'm just like, but when I see the losses there where I change my risk, I'm like, let me just whatnot. Yes, but you see right now, you're saying you're thinking too much, but where does the trading edge come in right now? Let's bring the trading edge thing right now, because isn't the trading edge supposed to be you facing the markets, the screen, and then you also thinking of like, oh no, I'm supposed to? Or do we have is there a misconception on trading edge?
I would say an edge is a subset of the trading plan.
Okay.
An edge is part of the trading plan. Actually, a trading plan is built on the edge. Maybe let me start describing what's an edge. An edge is basically a probability of one thing happening over the other. Why do you take a bullish flag after the breakout and retest? That's not what I trade. I'm just using a common pattern, right? Why do you take a buy order after maybe after a bullish flag breaks and retests? Is because it's proven that that particular pattern has when you see a pattern like that, there are more chances of you winning than losing, right? So it is one part. And the word edge, it's got 4 letters, EDGE, right? It stands for emotional control. 1, discipline to what? To your trading plan, right? And then the G stands for goals. You need to have goals as a trader. And the last one, which is very important, execute. You can't execute on what you do not have in pen and paper. So a trading plan, I think it's one of the main contributors to traders losing. A lot of people, which is why I said earlier on, trading is not a game of technical analysis and time frame, but a game of price. So traders think when they see a chart, they think Fibonacci, they think pattern. It's just price. And it doesn't matter if price was offered at 1.25. Does it really matter if price was offered, at 1.25 in a 30 minutes chart or in a daily time frame? It doesn't matter. The main idea is that price was offered. Right, so a trading plan is really important, and I'm going to try to explain the connection between a trading plan and an edge. My edge comes from understanding the market from a basic level. Like I said, it helps me make any strategy work. My edge also is very tied to risk management. Like I said, I lose more than I win. And if traders are honest out there, they'll tell you that's what they go through as well. But in pursuit of clients and social media, you want to show your winning side. You want to show your winning side only. So the development of an edge takes reviewing your past trades. It takes taking inventory of your emotions, your feelings prior to going into a trade, during the trade, and after a trade, which is why a journal, it is very important, because that is where you see, I'm going to keep using chart patterns, right? I'm an order flow trader. That is where you see which pattern works best, which days are you most profitable on, and which risk management works for you. Sometimes you might find that your risk per trade is 1.5. Your risk reward ratio is 1:3, but your risk per trade is 30%, right? That means in any account size, if you're risking 30% per trade, you only have 3 chances. If those 3 chances are losses, then you're gone. And we do not know the sequence of winners and losers in our trading. So those 3 trades could be losers, and then your account is blown. In the worst case, people even risk 100%. That's why sometimes what people do not look at when a trader posts the screen with profits. For traders like me, who really goes deep into risk management, I go all the way to looking at the margin level. You look at the margin level, it's 126%, and you know that this trader is probably 2-3 pips away from blowing the account.
And then people don't see that.
People don't see that. And that's very important in managing your account. I'm going to put it like this, maybe to give a value to people. If your margin level is between 1 and 100%, you're in trouble, because it means anytime there's going to be margin call. Now, margin call is when you start seeing those trades going disappearing from your profit and loss window. So it is very important to manage that. Some brokers, their margin level is 30%. So it will wipe out the whole. Once you get to 30% of margin level, you start seeing trades being closed automatically. But if you really want to have less stress when you're trading, make sure that your margin level is between 500 and 1,000%. But you're still risking too much.
That is like a medium risk, right?
That's a medium risk. But for people to know, because people just take trades, they press the button. When this game has a lot to it, there's lots of dynamics to manage, which is why I would go to a trading plan. A trading plan ensures that you do not think too much. I think that's one of the reasons in Wall Street, some prop firms, the traditional prop firms, use algorithms to trade, because they know that the human brain is flawed. So you don't have to think. How many times have you fought with your girlfriend and then went to the charts and lost everything? It happens so many times. So and there is another thing. Your environment is very important because, like it or not, what's going on around you is going to tap into the market. When I've had a really bad day or bad week, I prefer not to go to the charts because, once again, that's an edge. That's an edge because from my past trades and looking at my journal, I realized that whenever I fought with market, or whenever I just got a call from say someone that I'm owing, maybe in business or in real life, then I'm gonna go into the market and say, okay, I was risking 0.5%. Now, in order to get rid of this person, let me risk 5% on this account. You're already trading outside your trading plan. And your trading plan, my mentor used to call it a success plan. It is what carries your success because it carries what? Your edge. It carries the conditions that put you on the winning side of things. Also, when it comes to a methodology in trading, there is also this misconception of thinking that the trading methodology is going to make you a consistent winner at the end of the day. No, sometimes it takes doing the things that a method can't help you with. Okay. For an example, a method can't force you to predefine your risk before you go into the market. A method can't help you, or it can't tell you you're not supposed to move your stop loss to break even too soon because the market might take you out and then move your direction and then you're left regretting, right? And that brings about a lot of negative emotions that really pour into your trading and really cause traders to really mess up. I do not know if I really explained that the right way, but at the bottom line, an edge basically is a higher probability of one thing happening over the other, and it doesn't equate to consistent income in trading.
No, that's true. Earlier on you touched on personal growth. I think a lot of people we tend to think that a lot of people have said, work on yourself. It's not about the charts, not about and I like what
generic
you said.
advice.
Which is so true. And I'm just like, okay, now when you think about it, someone's gonna hear that right now. They're gonna go home right now and they're gonna be like, okay, now, let me read a book about self-development. Okay, cool. Yeah. Now they start reading a book about self-development this week. And then all of a sudden next week they expect themselves to be at the right part. And I think, yes, personal growth is done at your own pace, at one's own pace. I do understand that. But unfortunately, people need to understand that habits don't get broken easily, which contribute to your personal growth.
Absolutely. Speaking of habits and speaking of personal growth, and a book that I've read almost every year at the beginning of the year, it's Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a very, very good book that's going to make you understand how the small habits that you do every day build up to something big. There's something that's common these days called monk mode.
Okay.
Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I think I've heard about it. Yeah, I have heard about it.
It's a really great way to build habits. With monk mode, what you do is for a certain number of days, normally 90 days. I'm actually on it right now. That's why I asked for green tea, not because I try to cut on my sugar intake. So you have these non-negotiables. For me, it's no alcohol. No weed, and reduce time on social media. So I'm trying to spend less than an hour on social media in 24 hours because that really takes too much of our time. And you have to do that consistently for 90 days. Here's the interesting part. When you spoke about habits and breaking them, if you break it for one day, you have to start afresh. So I'd say that's one way. People can go research about it and try it on their own. And in my community as well, trading community, I always try to enforce that, because that really helps with performance.
Yeah.
I mean, do you follow football?
Nah.
No, not that much.
Yeah. No, I don't. Not even not that much. I'll probably only follow like the World Cup.
The World Cup. Cristiano Ronaldo, you must know him.
Yeah, obviously.
That guy is living on monk mode every time. Like I said, even when he's going on a press conference, when there's a Coca-Cola bottle, he puts it down and puts water on the table. That's what he drinks, because he understands that habits and certain habits that are outside. His job is simple. It's to kick a ball to the net. But why is he working so hard? Because he understands that to be successful at this one thing, it takes work that's outside. LeBron James spends about $1 million every year on his body fitness. Why? His job is just to shoot hoops. I mean, I think in practice he has done that 1,000 times. But he understands that it also takes work that's outside trading. That's outside basketball to really drop 40 points in a game.
Yeah. So do you, based on what you're saying, do you think we're a lot of the 95% of the people who are losing, we're just not serious? We're just not, I'm not going to put myself there. But a lot of the people, is it a matter of like they're just not serious? In terms of, because you really do look at the greats, honestly, the great sports personalities. You look at them, you look at the work ethic that really goes behind what is it they do to perform for 90 minutes, for 4 quarters, for however, just to perform for a short period of time. And I think a lot of people we don't really translate that. We see the documentaries, we watch it, we see all of the things, but then we don't understand is that, okay, look, for me to be able to perform on Tuesday at 12 o'clock, I can't just wake up and come there and perform. You understand that the market has been there for how long? You have not practiced, by the way. Do you think people aren't just serious? We just don't, we say we want it, but I don't think people really want it as bad as they say they want it.
Oh, absolutely. In this industry, a lot of people are winging it, and even in life, people are counting on luck too much, forgetting that it takes work. You have to be serious, especially with the financial markets, so to speak. Personally, Nqobile, no one messes with my money. Even myself. So when I'm going for my money, if they say it's gonna take running 35 kilometers, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do the work. I think, like you said, we are just not, or people rather, they are not that serious. They're winging it. They're gamifying this thing. That's why when I said people, when they open a chart, they start seeing these funny things, funny shape, goat on a mountain pattern, double top, double bottom. I'm not saying those doesn't work. They work on certain market conditions, but you have to understand the basics. You also have to understand the work that it takes. And go back to studying the people who are really making money in this industry, the people who are winning, the investment bankers, the ones that are trading in traditional prop firms, whether in Canary Wharf in London or in Manhattan and in New York. They work on themselves. Sometimes inside the prop firm, there's a gym, there's a psychology coach, so many things, because they understand it takes work that is outside the trading to really be successful. So we take things at face value, most things at face value, but once you really go deep with it, you realize that no, it takes a lot of work outside. I would also say trading is easy. It's very easy. It's the work outside and controlling your emotions, your impulsivity, and it's a constant fight in your head. which is one of the funny things that normally happens. My woman doesn't believe that I'm human sometimes because I have this thing. When I say something, I have to do it. So you would find that maybe we're chilling on the couch or on the bed, but in the morning I had written in my daily goals. So I always write my daily goals, 5 daily goals. So in the evening, I do a review. And when I come across, I was supposed to do 300 push-ups. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm tired. But I said I was going to do it. And then I get off the bed or the couch and I go do it. Because I understand how it's going to help me. And sometimes people think it's all about getting fit and getting all the girls.
That's true.
No, that's not what it's all about. It's all about fighting your inner demons, right? You said you're going to do this and you do it. It goes back to a trading plan, right? So once you win in the other side of life, going to the trading plan, you won't deviate easily because you know that if you say something or if you write something down and you say you're going to do it, you do it. Speaking of daily goals and doing something that you did, at the end of my daily goals, I put my signature.
Okay.
That's a contract. That's a contract. I have to be accountable. I can't be accountable to you, Nqobile, if I'm not accountable to myself. When I do business, at times I look at things that are outside even the business. You might have a lot of money, dangle a carrot and say, maybe Maxwell, come probably teach, or if you're a broker, Maxwell, come, I want to do this tour. I want you to do presentations. I'm going to give you $250,000. Sometimes I wouldn't take that because when I look at how you do other things in life, it always pours into the business side of things. And I know that we're really not going to go anywhere with this. Yeah. So it's the things that are outside trading, sport that really matter.
It actually all goes down to ties in with the success and luck. Basically, the stuff you're saying, especially the writing down of things, the winging it part. That is so. You know how many people right now I've sat down with across the table. They've said, "I've asked, do you have a trading plan?" And they said, "Nah, my trading plan is up here."
That's the thing. Some of them you'd really take time to ask them, what does your trading plan looks like?
But they don't have it's up here.
What does it entail?
But it's up here. It entails whatever they, because I like the fact that you said a lot of us are winging it. Which is the absolute truth there. Because we tend to think that I've got the skill will always be there, and I think that right there just kind of brings a negative connotation towards the whole industry as well, because a lot of people now are thinking to themselves like, nah, my trading plan is up here, I know what to do when I open a chart.
But what about the times when you're going through personal problems? Will you remember everything? And a trading plan, it's not just about the details of your risk management or the market that you trade, the days of the week that you trade. It also goes into how much time are you willing to put in this? What time are you on your desk every day? Personally, during this monk mode season, I wake up at 4 a.m. Pray, stretch, work out, drink my green tea and write my daily goals. At 6 a.m., I'm on my charts because I know that later around 9 a.m. during the day, I probably won't be able to trade. Most of my trades, I take limit orders because sometimes I'm not in front of my screen. I have to take a serious call that's going to require me to think. Sometimes you want to really put in time with your loved ones. You don't want to be talking to your loved ones at the same time you're looking at the chart, right? Because as soon as your mother says, hey, then you're like, this JPY may sort that. You're already losing it. You're already losing it. So it's very important not to wing it and really hone in on it's not just the methodology. We're focused on the methodology, the holy grail. The promise of this method, like I said, that will give you consistent income and suddenly eliminate all the market inconsistencies. That's not real. That's not real. It doesn't exist. but building your edge, and I believe most strategies out there are successful. It's just that they're not tied into a personal routine, they're not tied into risk management. Also, they're not tied into the personality of the trader, which is very important. My trading strategy, I'm a swing trader. It fits in with my lifestyle. I'm doing business almost every day. So I'm not frustrated. I don't have to look at the chart every time. Also, my risk is very minimal. And normally my daily drawdowns, I have my own daily drawdowns, not the prop firm ones. If I lose 1.5%, which is normally 3 trades, because I take 0.5% as a risk per trade. If I lose 1.5% in a day, I'm done. On the upside, if all those 3 trades win, I'm also done. Because you need to know when to leave the table. That's what people who play poker say, because there's always a chance of taking that money back into the market.
100%.
2019, I had lost a lot of money at that time. So I was really going on tilt, and I was now trying to make back that money. And I got introduced into indices, not for the first time, because I started trading penny stocks when I started trading. And I would see people flip accounts, and I took 3.4 to 58,000 rands in 2 days. And guess what happened on the third day? I ended up walking away with 7K. Rest of the money, 51,000, back into the market. So you need to know when to leave the table. Your trading plan also needs to include the when and how much are you going to withdraw. Like in a month, if I've made, let me say $1,000, right? I'm going to withdraw 60% of that, which is $600. The rest needs to grow the account so that 6 months down the line, I'm not only focusing on $1,000 a month, I'm now focusing on probably 2,000 to 2.5, because there must be that growth. There's another thing. Most traders that I've seen, they do not even have a scaling plan.
That's true.
They don't have a plan on how to scale and grow their accounts. So it's very important to be professional about this thing. I take pride in that. Sometimes when I'm not outside, just trading in the house, I'd even dress up like this, not going anywhere, just going into my trading setup, because of how serious I take this. It has helped me change the situation and my family's life, and I believe that through it I can put them in a better position, and I can achieve those enormous goals. When I was in high school, they used to call me Hollywood, because they said my dreams could win Oscars. Pretty much that's it.
I like when you say let's be professional about this. And there really needs to be a professional approach to trading, because when you think about it now, it's like we said, like I said, I'm going to go back to the winging it part, because I know so many people who are winging it right now, who are just like, nah. And the thing is, we really need to model ourselves after the great sports people, not just the great business people as well, and not just look towards other traders that we think we need to be in the position right now. Because right now how one's life can really change when you actually look at a sports person. For instance, Cristiano Ronaldo. You look at how he lives his life. You translate that into your own life. I'm not even talking about trading, your own life. And watch how your trading will benefit from that.
Another great, Kobe Bryant.
He
once said a statement, and I took it too personal. Everything that happened in his life was there to make him a better basketball player. And I've taken that personally into trading. Everything that happens in my life has to make me a better trader, which is why things that don't benefit me, I do not entertain. And it goes for cutting people that don't benefit. Because some people, they're not providing any value. They're just taking. Or some people are there to see if you're failing. Like probably after this podcast, I'm gonna get a lot of calls. Hey, let's meet, let's link up. I do like that. Like I said, I like networking. But what value am I gaining? Because I know that the minute we meet, I'm gonna give you some value. But what am I gaining from that meeting? Which is very important, and we cannot waste time. Some things come with age. I just turned 30, so I'm more serious about things because I feel like I'm getting.
Are you a 94 baby?
No, I'm 93.
Oh, 93. Oh,
yeah.
so 30 is last year.
Yeah.
I'm slowly approaching as well. I'm like,
that's great, man. I'm telling you, probably that day it happens, it's gonna be a cake in front of you. You're not gonna be smiling because you're now reflecting. And it gets real.
Yeah, and I think it really gets real in terms of, and I always used to say your 20s is really a risk in all phase.
Yeah.
Between 20 and like from the moment you leave high school until you get to 30, I think it's an experimental phase. It's a moment where
that's when you should take most risk.
Yeah. And I'm not saying after 30 you can't take risks, but I think these should be the risks of like, I don't mind losing everything for this to see whether it's worked out.
Yeah.
The fact that top traders say it's a business, obviously, and I'd like to see it is a successful business, but it's not the only business I've started, because I've been taking risks in my 20s. There's so many other
absolutely. Like like when I was in my 20s, like I could deposit 20K and blow it and be like, I'll recover.
Yeah.
Hey, now if I blow 20K, there are people who are not going to eat. There are people who are not going to have their rent paid. So it changes a lot of things. I would say it also grows you in a way. But there is that regret of, you know what, when the chance to go to the UK for a gap year, I should have taken that when I was 20, because now it's going to be hard when you have a fiance. So now you have to take that person along with you, or when you have a kid, now you have to take that kid with you. So yeah, in your 20s, take as much risks as possible, but try to calculate your risk. You know what trading has helped me with, bro? Risk reward. I take that shit to life as well. Yeah. Sorry to curse. Okay, MJ is not here. MJ is not here yet. So yeah, yeah, man, I apply that thing in life. I look at the cost. It's called the cost of finding out.
Okay.
Yeah. Am I willing to risk 2 years of my life to attain this thing that I even don't know if it's gonna be possible to attain? If it is possible, is the risk equal to the reward? If it's equal to the reward, I don't take it. Or if the reward is less than the risk, I don't do it. Like in this instance, I'm more involved in business, the professional side of things. Like imagine telling me that, you know what, there's a Coke deal that I got in Cape Town, Max. Can you get me some Coke? Probably that's gonna give me like 2, 3, 5 million rands, but I'm not gonna take it because the risk reward.
It's not worth it. Not worth it.
Yeah.
Not worth it at all.
So that's how trading has helped me a lot in life as well. Also, building that resilience. You know, because trading, you lose, you have to get back up, bro. You have to get back up because you started posting on social media, and there are people, they're waiting for you to fail. You can't make those people happy. You can't make those people happy. Yeah.
And that is so frustrating. It
is.
Yeah,
it
but
is.
Doesn't that somehow speak to ourselves in the sense of, does that mean that we're living for people?
I have done that a lot, and there were people that were around me were complaining about that. I wasn't basically living for people, but it mattered what people thought about me. And then I don't know, somehow, probably when I was 27, that changed, because I stopped giving attention to people who have less information about me. You'd say a lot of things. I'm going to bring up a situation here when JP Markets shut down.
Yeah.
I was the face of the company in Swaziland.
Sure.
So when that company shuts down and people can't access their accounts and everything, who do they go to?
Not just the new.
Not Justin. They come to me like it was a terrible time, and I experienced a lot of psychological issues from that, and of which even today I'm still trying to sort that out, and personally, because it tarnishes your name, and sometimes you can't do business. And these internet gangsters who are pressing buttons on social media, they criticize you, put you in these groups, and then when your name gets cleared, they don't come back to say sorry.
Never.
And some of those people today, they want to do business with me, and when I say no, they look at me in a funny way. And I'm like, how stupid do you think I am? And for someone who comes from where I come from to be at the level that I'm at today, how stupid do you think I am that you can do me dirty like that and still do business together? Get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I wanted to talk about routine, you know, the importance of building a routine, because one thing I'm understanding right now, we spoke about Cristiano Ronaldo, we spoke about his life, but also speaking about your life as well.
Yeah.
Maxwell. Yes.
Yeah.
As well, you know, in really the importance of, what is the importance of building routine? Because especially how that really translates into one's trading as well.
Routine is very important. I'm a big proponent for how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you are someone who procrastinates in life in general, you're going to procrastinate doing your analysis probably during the weekend, and then when the market opens, now everything is going up and down, and then you jump in on trades that are not worth risking your money. So I would say routine is very important, and also routine, that is where you build habits. Routine is meant to, routine happens, you like it or not. The difference is it leading you to success or failure? For some people, the first 10 minutes when they wake up, they're on their phones. That's a routine. The next thing, probably they go brush their teeth, come back and open news. That's a routine. So with routine, you need to figure out a routine that's going to put you on the winning side of things. What I also like about routines, and personally the ones that I've built for myself, is that they help me in the markets with mental clarity. You talk about connecting routine to the market with mental clarity, and also building the habit, because in the markets you have to do the same thing over and over again. You have to execute your edge over and over again. You have to risk 0.5% over and over again, even if that opportunity looks great, because we're not focused on the outcome of the trade. We're focused on the risk. Right. We do not know the outcome of the trade. We're not supposed to know. According to Mark Douglas, you don't need to know what's going to happen next to be in a winning trade. So it's all about the risk. So routines are very, very important. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Which is why I said in business, I look at your life first. No matter how big is the carrot you're dangling in front of me. There's another thing. At this point of my life, you can't really use money to get to me. I've seen it, I've lost it, and I know money that comes with good energy. I know money that comes with bad energy. And also there's the reputation part. You work so hard to build a name, and then it gets messed up by a wrong partnership just because you were thinking of the money, right? Life is way bigger than that. So there are other things that we consider when we make decisions.
Especially partnerships, I think, in this industry. It's quite a lot. I don't know how many offers we've gotten. People just saying that, no, come, let's work. And you kind of look at the way and there's actually one recently that happened. Some guy, I've never seen him stay at a shop for more than 3 months, 2 months. He knows how to cut a check. He knows how to cut a clean check. I'll tell you that. The figures I've gotten from him are wild. When he says, bro, I make anything happen for you. But my issue right there is that you look at I'm like, it lacks stability. I mean, bro, any sponsorship we get into, no less than 6 months. Because why? because we live in a generation right now where if somebody is not willing to take it, because a lot of brokers like this 3 months probation thing.
Yeah. I've had sorry to cut you. I've had lots of those. Like I'd come maybe with a database of 2,000 active clients, 5,000 active clients, and I'm looking to work with these people. Sometimes I'll be like to brokers, I don't need you to pay me the $10,000 that you're paying to the celebrity trader. I know how to bring value. I know how to make my money is in the markets, not from the clients. But these people are desperate to do things the right way. All I need from you is for you to take off Google ads and Facebook ads so that maybe we can get a wider audience. And the broker will be like, bring the first 2,000. I'm like, no. 7 years in this game. And most time I spent working with brokers. So there's no deal that I don't know. And you can't really get away with things when it comes to me. And you can't use money because everything I do has to be in line with my vision. It has to be, I was raised on principles and values. And I think that's what makes a man. Not how much money he makes. It's his principles and values.
No,
so that's very important. So some of these brokers, we're talking about the industry, right?
But we'll get it.
Oh, by the way, yeah. It's the
No, guys, go watch the episode of Industry Chats that we've done with Maxwell, with myself, MJ as well. There we get really deep with, because he has quite an extensive record within the market, or like something. You spent a lot of time within the industry. I mean, your CV speaks for itself.
How does it speak for itself?
No, like it shows your experience, your work experience, where you've been and all that. So I think really, you guys can check that episode out. We've done with Maxwell. But today we are we're
still on that part. But I must say, tenure doesn't correlate to success in this market.
Okay,
you could have been trading for 10 years and still losing. Like we've been saying, probably the past 20 minutes or so, what correlates to outcomes is the things that you do outside trading and your trading plan. Period.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. So, do you think what is your approach to the market? Yeah, when you open the charts, first thing.
Okay.
What are we looking at?
I don't open the charts before I go through my trading plan.
Okay.
Because what am I going to do on the charts? Like, it's printed. It stays on the side of my trading table. I have to go through it every day so that I know what I'm supposed to do. And it's like, even in sport, we spoke a lot about sport. There are playbooks, right? You need to know how you're going to approach a game. Before you can know how you can beat the opponent, you need to know your own strengths and weaknesses. And you also, because speaking of learning how to lose, sometimes in games, it's not just about scoring and winning. You also need to be defensive and protect. I was a defender when I was playing football. So you need to protect. So my job was to protect the team from getting a lot of goals scored against us, so that we can give the strikers enough chances to put us in a winning position at the end of the day.
Do you think that has somehow translated to your trading?
Absolutely.
You being a defender?
Absolutely, because I'm more worried about the risk than the reward.
Yeah.
Also because my trading plan takes care of the reward. So I need to worry about the risk.
Yeah.
I don't look at a trade and be like, how much can I make from this trade? I'm like, how much can I risk from it? And I don't know what's the outcome. It could be a break even, it could be a stop loss, it could go all the way to target profit. I just need to stick to my plan. That's it.
And that's crazy, because really you can look at someone's life and be like, actually that guy, he's like I'm saying right now, the way you're talking, and when you say you're a defender, you understand, I've already made the correlations that when you talk about your trading plan, I already know in your trading plans that my man's is focusing on risk more than anything else.
Exactly.
Because you understand, or in the field of life or in the field of soccer already, you were defending there. You knew people depended on you to defend. So you see how everything kind of just translates to a person's life. You know, what happened or what what happens in the person's life kind of translates to trading.
Yeah.
When people want to go pop bottles in the club, they want to, and then they think that when they get to trading, it's like, yeah, I live like this, but the market will pay us. And it's like,
If people don't can take anything from this podcast, is how you do one thing is how you do everything. If probably gonna catch a lot of smoke for this. If you cheat on your girlfriend, you're probably gonna cheat on your trading plan. Yeah, that's how you do one thing. How you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah. Now you're preaching.
That's very important. And I always say, we spoke about luck earlier. I haven't been lucky to make the money that I would say most traders are making because I focus on the markets, not clients. We know how most of their money come from because I like a bit of luck in trading. But the work has always been consistent, and like we spoke about being a defender, and that has always how I did everything. Like I'm a man of principles and values through and through, and I bring that to the market, which is a plan, something solid, a systematic approach. That's how I approach life. Even my family, I'm 30. Family starts getting worried when you get to 30 and you still don't have a kid. They always say, that one deals with numbers. He is probably waiting to make $1 million US before he can have a kid. So I'm data driven because it's easy to scale. It's easy to manipulate, reduce certain things, increase certain things to have the best outcome at the end of the day. It's all maths. And we look at the people that we learn this thing from, traders. Probably in Wall Street, Canal Wharf, and in London, these people are trading on screens. But what happens? I'm in the mall, pop up my iPhone. I don't carry an iPhone, by the way. I'm an Android guy. Pop up my iPhone. GBP, JPY. When I look at my RSI, what is overbought? I'm like, let me sell. Put it in. Those guys don't trade like that. And another thing, the results that they have. Even FTMO, I think they released that some of their most profitable traders, they make something like up to 3% a month. So this 400% in a day, is it sustainable?
There's no sustainability. I mean, I had somebody defending the full margin. I had an interview. That guy was defending full margin trading.
Yeah.
It's like the sustainability there. He was trying to prove it to me that I still don't believe it. Fair that everyone's entitled to their own opinion. If something works for you, clearly you have figured it out. But I just feel like there's no sustainability in full margin trading.
You had a guest here who I respect so much for being honest, Isaac.
Yeah,
Easy. He said
he's actually coming later today.
Is it? He said you don't just blow a trading account. Because remember, how you do one thing is how you do everything. People even blow their personal accounts. So you don't just blow your trading account. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And people don't realize that because they are not self-aware. Earlier on, there's this point that I wanted to bring. One of the greatest blessings that God has given me is self-awareness, which is very key in the market because you have to be present. You have to focus on the here and now, not what has happened in the past, because in the past you might have experienced a series of losses. You have to digest that and then leave it in the past and focus on the here and now. And trading is a high performance sport. I don't know if people realize that.
Like people
it's a high performance sport, which is why for me the details outside my life are very, 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 very key. And it comes with sacrifice. One of the things that I regret is not spending enough time with my woman, not spending enough time with my family in pursuit of this. But that's risk reward, right? I'm sacrificing something for the bigger goal. Probably in 5-10 years now, they'll be sitting somewhere in a beach But every time they want to see me and they can't see me, they get angry now, and I hope they can forgive me for that. But it's this bigger vision. I can't sleep.
Yeah.
And because here's another thing, as a man, as a leader, you always have to be, I always say this, as a provider, you have to be 3 months ahead of your family. That's wealth. You can't be, you have to get out of survival mode. The late Nipsey Hussle, one of my favorite rappers, once said this when he was advising young men. He said, first thing, get out of survival mode. Because once you stop thinking about what am I going to eat in my next meal, or how am I going to keep the lights on, then that's when you start thinking of big things. That's how you start thinking of big things. So it's very, very important to get out of survival mode. I think that's advice that I would give to traders is also that. And take care of home. You can't be flexing for us here in the streets and get better, right? Like, bro, that thing, like for me, and at this instance, one of my main goals and one of my North Stars has always been my mother. I love that woman to death. She has taught me so many things, sacrificed so many things for me and my siblings. And I want to do so many things for her, which probably I'm going to regret not sitting and chatting with her. But I want to make sure that before she leaves in this world, she says, Ukhona uNkulunkulu. Like my son really did it, because I've always promised her great things, which is why I'd say I'm living frugal. Like I don't spend on a lot of materialistic things, which also comes from understanding those things could be easily taken. I don't know if people understand that. I really focus on things that nourishes the soul. Like love. I really love love. Love is a powerful thing. It can make crazy things. Probably one of the reasons I'm here is because of love. Because there's someone that I love. There's someone that I want to take care of. Love is powerful.
Yeah. You know, producing at the highest quality is basically what I'm taking from this conversation. You know, and I think
standards.
Such
a standard. I always say, I don't know what was in my mother's mind when she named me Maxwell, but I think somehow I took it personal, or that's what she wanted, because in everything that I do, if I can't take it to the optimal level, I'd rather not do it. Like even in trading, my goal is to get to the hedge fund level. I've had my own broker before. An industry that I want to tap into right now is the prop firm. But speaking of prop firms, they're not really prop firms, they're evaluation companies. I know the traditional prop firms. I mean, think about this, Nqobile. How can I give you 90% of the profits? How am I making my money? I know, like I said, I'm constantly in these meeting rooms with traders in your London, Canary Wharf, and in Manhattan, SMB Capital. Those are the people that I touch base with every now and then. And those people sometimes make $3,000 a month from a $200,000 account, or sometimes a $500,000 account. But if it would be given to some of the traders on this side of the world, they'd want to flip that. Sustainability and consistency. Consistency is everything. Consistency.
No, that's true. That is so true. Okay, last topic for the day.
Okay, I can go on. How much time do you have? I can go on.
So let's talk about trading efficiently in 2024. You know, because I think basically our whole conversation is actually kind of leading up to this point right now. Because I think a lot of people right now, we've stepped into 2024, we're well within 2024 by the time this gets released. We're probably closing in the second month of the year. And I think already January has some people have already struggled in January as well, and some people still need a reset at this point. You know, and I hope those who listen to this conversation will take it. I'm inspired as well, because I'm looking at my life right now. You're actually speaking to me right now. I'm actually thinking it's like, this routine thing is actually quite important, you know. Yes, I understand.
It's better than any money in the world, trust me.
I understand. I remember there's a point in my life where championship mentality was something I was so focused on.
Yeah.
I was so focused on. But when you think about championship mentality, you go look at the people who win championships for a living.
Right.
Go and break down the process for them to get there. Then they step into a mindset of like, we're champions. But unfortunately, traders, this is an individualized sport we're doing right now.
It's like golf, eh?
Yeah, it's a lonely. But when you look at the great golfers, man, people behind the scenes spend so much time on the what do you call, on the green?
Yeah,
is what they call
Tiger
it.
Woods, man.
Yeah, spend so much time there on the green right now.
Yeah,
and it's just like, now it's like coming back to one's own life. You're just like, okay, now 2024 is here. I need to trade more efficiently.
Right.
The way, and like I'm saying, we've already spoken to the inefficiencies of trading, which is swinging it. Your routine is not on point.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. You're not producing at the highest quality you're not producing at the quality that you should be producing at, which is highest quality. And and you expect out here to be successful, profitable. And we're actually talking about something.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll get back to this.
Yeah.
We're actually talking about something earlier on. When I'm like, becoming successful, producing at the highest quality. Then we went back to refer to someone who's basically, and not to talk bad about, who's like kind of not seeing that they're successful because they're not popular enough.
Yeah.
Those kind of things.
Yeah,
and I'm like, guys, those are things that we shouldn't even be worried about. We should be worried about, like I said, producing at the highest quality. So let's talk about trading efficiently in 2024 and moving forward.
Yeah. Before we get into that, this popularity thing, you have to know why you started this. For me, it has always been my family, to take care of my family, not to be popular by any means. Trust me, I've turned down other podcasts, probably smaller than this, back where I'm coming from, TV interviews, because I didn't want to be popular, because I understand how having a lot of people around you can pollute the vision. I also understand that you start chasing clout and you start doing things for people, and you lose sight of the main goal. And also to say to young traders, you're in the markets to make money. In the market, not from the clients. That's the best thing, because clients are going, like, we used to see people have like 50,000 members on their Telegram, and they all went all the way down to 300. That means your income is dropping, right? But if you develop a skill that is good enough in the markets, you'll never worry about a client. Like, sometimes I turn down clients, bro, because maybe sometimes because of mindset, but sometimes because I'm too busy. Well, trading efficiently in 2024, I would say, I'll start here. The financial markets in general has seen a lot of development over the years, both from an information and a technological aspect. I'll start with the problems that traders need to avoid in 2024. It is information overload. There's too much information out there, and it can cause analysis paralysis, whereby you're seeing a double bottom, at the same time you're seeing a bullish flag, you're seeing a Fibonacci. So this information can't really gel, and it can't really make you make a sound decision. So you need to understand the markets from a basic approach, or have one strategy, at least have one strategy. And another thing, it will be AI and machine learning. It's really coming in hard.
Yeah,
it has a lot of advantages, and traders can use it to their advantage. But never ever think there's an AI that's going to control the markets, because all price is human generated events. It's a buyer and a seller. That's what you have to understand. And then have a trading plan, my guy. A lot of people don't know what they are doing. They don't even know when they're winning, and they don't even know what setups they should take. journal your trades. That's how you develop an edge. That's how you know your strongest points, your weaknesses, and what you need to work on, right? And then
before you go to the part, then
go ahead.
You see, the trading plan part, it's such a tedious process.
Oh, by the way, can I share what a trading plan entails? Because I don't want to be like any of these generic mentors and traders, because I know what a trading plan entails. Like it starts from outside trading. How much money are you willing to invest in the markets? Right? And I always say anything below, this is gonna sound, anything below $1,000, don't put it on a personal account. Rather buy a prop firm, leverage through a prop firm, right? Because it's really hard to risk 1% on a $100 account, considering the minimum margin requirements. It's very hard. So prop firms are great. I know you're passionate about that. Let's leverage that, and from what we get from the prop firms, take that and into your personal account, because in your personal account now you have a much bigger leverage. Now you can be able to risk 2%, 3%, not more than 5%. Please don't risk more than 5%. You won't last long in this game. So yeah, pretty much that's it. Also, you had a very interesting guest on this podcast, a trader that I respect. I think it's because of his militant approach to trading. I think you already know who I'm talking about. Kyle James.
100%.
Kyle James. Really, really focused dude. I'm looking forward to meeting him while I'm still around here, and really discuss the markets. So he mentioned, speaking of trading efficiently, once again, because I don't want us to lose sight of what we're discussing. Trading efficiently in 2024, he spoke about the 3 pillars of the markets, right? He spoke about the methodology of trading. So have a method that you know can select high probability opportunities for you, not just high probability opportunities that have a low risk and high reward. Risk reward is a very great thing because it protects you on the days you go through your losing streaks. And the mindset. Now, the mindset is, like I said, traders, sometimes they lose an account and you go to your mentor. I once joined one of these lousy groups and the mentor was like, it's your psychology. I was like, what about my psychology?
What is that's a topic.
What about my psychology?
Everything is just psychology. And I'm just like, okay.
It's because they don't know. They don't review their data. They have no trading plans, and it's crazy.
They use the term psychology. It's a selling point. Psychology is more of a selling point more than
it's
anything.
An excuse of I do not know what's causing you to lose because I don't even do it myself. I don't review my own data. So the mindset, it should be a probabilistic mindset because we are in a probabilistic environment, right? Understand that anything can happen. Understand that there's a random distribution between winners and losers. Understand that there's a random distribution between winners and losers for any variables that define an edge. Understand that you do not need to know what's going to happen next. Understand that your methodology needs to be tied to the third point that Kyle talked about, which is the money management. Now, I aid my own. So mine has 4 pillars. Market insight. Understand the market from the basic level, fundamentals. It's funny that people talk about fundamentals. They wanna say I'm a fundamental trader, trading the consumer price index, CPI. They don't understand even what that is. The fundamentals you should be focusing on is the basics of the market. Is a game of price and arbitrage. There's a buyer and a seller, and the broker, which is responsible for the order matching process. Someone would come here on the podcast or publish a book or write on social media and say they're a price action trader. And then you ask them, how does price action come about? They don't know. Well, here's how price action comes about. So traders, buyers and sellers, when they come together in their millions, their activity follows a herd mentality, right? So that herd mentality, it is represented in order flow. And that order flow will print as price action. And when you look at the price action overall, there are patterns. So that's one thing. We are concerned about the outcome, not the processes. Right. The younger generation right now. One of my students, I think he's 19 years old, started trading. He was now doing very well. And then he told me, after making a withdrawal, I'm going to buy myself equipment, lighting, studio, so that I can teach. I was like, teach? You're only 3 months in. It goes back to being to the popularity. I think, can we just do this in 2024 as industry players, right? Can we do this? Can we stop glorifying the teaching part of trading and start focusing on the markets? Now, I understand business, and I understand that even this industry has different value chains, right? So someone will be focusing on the education part, someone will focus on selling software, but the real thing that's going to help you in the long term is the markets.
Yeah, beautiful. A lot has been said today. I think I'm inspired, guys. Maxwell has kind of pointed out some things in my life. I'm just like,
sorry, man. Sorry.
No, don't even be sorry, man. I think that's the purpose of this podcast. You know,
absolutely.
We get to sit down here. We get to have conversations that are not just conversations, but conversations that are meant to change our lives. And these are the kind of conversations I enjoy having. I promise
You're
you.
welcome. Likewise.
I promise you, if it was not for the enemy of progress of this country, ESCOM, I promise you, we'd... That's MJ, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you can hear him.
Is it?
Yeah. Did you not hear that?
Oh, that's him. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Got a fruit pie. I want one of those. I hope one day I'm able to make enough money to get one of those.
Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, what was I saying?
See, fruit pies is disturbing.
Hey. And this one happens to a lot of people now. They hear fruit pie and it kind of takes you off.
Get carried away.
But like I'm saying, these are conversations that really we're meant to be having, honestly, day to day, from time to time.
Absolutely.
Honestly, and I think I really hope that you guys at home, at work, wherever you are, in your car, if you're stuck in traffic, you're listening. I appreciate the support, but I also hope that, guys, we are doing this for you guys. Honestly, at the end of the day, guys, really, I hope you guys do enjoy this. I hope everyone enjoy. I enjoy it. I enjoyed the conversation.
I did too. And I also hope I help change someone's life. It's one of my main, even if it's one, that's one of my mandate in life. Even my selection criteria of who comes into my community is also based on that, because I want to make sure that I'm efficient in the change that I make.
No, perfect. No, Maxwell Dlamini, thank you so much for your time today. Obviously, the details, everything, will leave them down below if you guys want to reach out to Maxwell. Appreciate it so much.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me.
No, pleasure. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was another installment of Welcome Masters with myself, Nqobile Tembane from Top Traders South Africa. I'll see you guys sometime. Take place.